Gotcha. Yes. Yes. Get into it. Get into it. Yes. We're back. Hi, lovelies. Hi. Welcome back to another installment of Storytime with Chris. As I always say, you don't have to watch these videos when they go live. You're more than welcome to watch them in your downtime, nap time, max, relax, and chillaxing time. In between time, me time, scheme time, study time, break time, CP time. Anytime you want to hear a highly animated voice bring you wonderful stories of magic, fantasy, science fiction, adventure, and many, many more in between. All right. Let's get into this story, because last time we left on an epic cliffhanger. The great lady, the queen, one of the big female dragons of Luster, Lady Firethroat, has now captured Kara, the Squidgem, by proxy, and Lightfoot, and has brought them to her cave. So we're going to see why this has happened. What would make her do this? Chapter 18, in Firethroat's Cave. Firethroat flew higher and higher until Kara felt that all of Luster was spread below them, a world of forests and plains, broad swamps and great rivers. In the distance, sparkling in the moonlight, a vast body of water stretched on farther than she could see, some huge lake or inland sea, perhaps even an ocean. Kara looked to her right, where Lightfoot dangled from the dragon's other claw, which held him round the middle. She wanted to speak to him, but it was impossible without direct contact. To her surprise, she was quite warm. She soon realized that the warmth emanated from the dragon's belly. The Squidgem, muttering in terror, had burrowed between her body and Firethroat's claw. Kara worried that he might tickle the dragon into dropping them, but once he stopped squirming, she realized it was almost comforting to have the little fellow snuggle together. They were above the mountains now, rising higher with the beating of Firethroat's great wings. The land below, marked with cliffs and crags, grew wilder and rockier the higher they flew. Was Firethroat planning to eat them? Perhaps she was simply going to drop them from some great height. Why was she angry with them? Simply for invading her territory? Or had they committed some other crime? She remembered Lightfoot saying that Firethroat had no patience with fools. She also remembered Grandmother Morris asking if anyone could be sure that he was not a fool. The dragon banged to the right. Kara felt dizzy as the world tipped beneath her. Then they swooped toward the side of a mountain. For a moment her heart leaped with new fear. She thought the dragon was going to dash them against the cliffs. At the last moment, Firethroat flapped her wings just enough to lift them above the edge of the cliff onto a broad shelf of rock that fronted an enormous cave. After depositing them on the flat surface, the dragon settled in herself. She had no need to fear her prey would run away. The only possible routes were over the cliff or past herself. On wobbly legs, Carol stumbled to Lightfoot and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Are you all right?" she thought. "Better than I'm likely to be in a few moments," he replied. Suddenly, the Squidgem bolted from her shoulder and attempted to race past Firethroat. The dragon put out one enormous claw to block the little creature's path. Squeaking with distress, the Squidgem scrambled over the claw and disappeared on the other side. Firethroat made a dangerous noise deep in her throat. Kara wondered if the dragon would now cook her and Lightfoot out of mere annoyance. Instead, Firethroat simply looked at them, which was almost as frightening. Indeed, after a few moments in the dragon's gaze, Kara felt as if she had been cooked. The dragon did not move. After a time, Kara forced herself to look back. She realized with some surprise that Firethroat was quite beautiful, if astonishingly large. The eyes that stared at her were nearly the size of her bedroom windows. Tendrils of smoke curled from flared nostrils so big that you could easily have roasted a chicken in either of them. Reddish scales that had the appearance of burnished metal covered her massive head. Her long neck disappeared into the darkness of the cave, though the end of her tail looped forward again so that its pointed tip lay only a few feet from Kara. Finally, Firethroat said, "So, you are the one for whom I have suffered so much humiliation." Though Kara had her hand on Lightfoot's shoulder, she didn't need the connection to understand the dragon. The beast spoke in perfect English. Kara was so surprised that she ignored the dragon's strange statement and asked, "How do you know my language?" "Species has its gifts," replied Firethroat. "The unicorns are healers. You humans have your hands and your inventive brains, always thinking of new things to make. We dragons have, among other things, the gift of tongues." This time, Kara understood that the dragon was whispering and realized that if she spoke with her full voice, it would probably blow them off the mountainside. Kara paused. The next question felt dangerous, as if once asked, it would open the door to a problem that could overwhelm them all, and yet there was no way back, no choice but to ask it. Realizing the very presence of the dragon seemed to demand that she speak formally, she asked, "How have I brought humiliation upon you?" Firethroat made that terrifying noise in her throat again. The smoke curling from her nose became thicker and darker. "I am very old," she whispered. "It has been many hundreds of years since anyone dared trifle with me. Yet 2 days ago, a man came to this cave while I was out flying. Few men there are in Luster, and even fewer that would dare come here. This man dared to come, and much more. He went to the store of my treasures, which no man on Luster has ever done. Worse still, he deserved that store, rummaging through it for the greatest prize of the lot, which he stole from me, to my shame and humiliation, and to your great sorrow." "What was it that he stole?" asked Kara nervously. Firethroat snorted twice. Little gouts of flame licked around the edges of her enormous nostrils. "One does not become old as I am without being wily as well. Before I came to Luster, many a man wished to kill me for the sake of impressing some fair lady whose span of days would be no more to me than the mayfly is to you. Most of these men and their treachery were easily defeated, yet I knew the day would come when some man would catch me while I was contemplating the poetry of the sky and the messages in the clouds and not thinking about men. I knew that in that moment I would die. So I wove a great enchantment. It took the help of many, for many were the magic makers, witches and wizards, and sorcerers of all sorts who were in my debt. Together we took my heart from my body and placed it in a golden casket. So long as my heart was in that casket, it was safe, and I could not be harmed. The man who came to my cave yesterday did what no man has ever dared to do, or even thought of doing. He stole my heart and told me he would not return it until I did his bidding." The dragon closed her eyes for a moment, and Kara felt a flash of pain and embarrassment so overwhelming that she almost wished she could fling herself from the cliff. "He who holds the casket holds my heart. He who holds my heart holds me, and can command me as he wishes. This was the price of the magic, the gias that is laid on me. I have no quarrel with you or your companions, but the man who holds my heart asked for you, and I had no choice but to obey." "Who is it that holds your heart?" asked Kara, sickeningly sure that she knew the answer already. Firethroat did not speak. From behind the dragon, a clear, strong voice said, "I do." Footsteps echoed across the floor of the cave as the man stepped from the darkness, stood beside the dragon's head. He was tall, with red hair. His eyes were dark, his face hard and lean. In his hands he held a large casket made of gold. Placing it on the ground, he put one foot on top of it, triumphant, confident. Firethroat groaned. Kara's heart was beating like a captured bird, and something thick seemed to have lodged itself in her throat. The man turned to her and spoke. She did not need to hear his voice to know he was the man who had pursued her into St. Christopher's. To know he was that man and so much more. "Hello, Kara," he said. She closed her eyes and swallowed, and then she whispered, "Hello, Daddy." And that is where we will end for today. Kara's father, who she has not seen since she was probably 5 years old, is indeed the hunter that has been following them, which means he's a descendant of Beloved, the main villain and arch nemesis of the unicorns. And so when we come back on Thursday, we shall find out why he's here and what is his scheme and why did he go through such dangerous lengths. But without all that being said, I bid you adieu, ciao, sayonara, and I'll see you later, lovelies. Bye-bye.